Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. Esteem a New Woman. The devilish diva starts on the road to becoming a new creature in Christ in this all-new Esteem series adventure. Get your copy of Esteem a New Woman at Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, because we're having us a barbecue. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Runway of Doom. The goddess next door struts her stuff on the catwalk to take on a runway of rogues in this action-packed all-new Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Runway of Doom at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. They say a simp and his money are soon to be parted. And an example of this is NBA player Will Richard. Now, Will Richard is a player who just signed a contract with the Golden State Warriors, and as he's signed this contract with the Golden State Warriors, he's gone out here and decided to buy a pair of Maserati SUVs for his mother and his sister. Tell me you grew up in a single mother household without telling me you grew up in a single mother household. And Will Richard says the reason why he bought this pair of Maserati SUVs for his mother and his sister was to honor them. Unfortunately, in his quest to honor his mother and his sister, he winds up dishonoring himself. Now, what's going on here with Will Richard is what happens with many of these NBA players who grow up in single mother households. What happens with these males is that they basically believe that they have to go out here and take care of mama as they're growing up in school. And as they're growing up in school, they want to go out here and buy mama a house and the amenities that she didn't get from their father. And what happens with these son husbands is that they wind up mismanaging their money because they make a series of bad business decisions. Now, Will Richard basically thought he was doing something kind for his mother, but the thing that he didn't do was something kind for himself, because when it comes to many of these NBA players, especially those who come from single mother households, they don't put themselves first. And as a result, what happens is they wind up in a financial situation where they're the ones who wind up being put last as related to taking care of their business. And what happened here with Will Richard is that he was looking to live what he believed to be the NBA lifestyle by getting mama a house instead of looking out for his own money and his own interests. Now, Will Richard thought, oh, I'll get mama and my sister these Maserati SUVs, thinking that this would be a way to go out here and show his success. But what it shows me that he really doesn't understand the business of being in the NBA. Now, when it comes down to a player has to know not only the game as related to the basketball court, but has to know the game as related to business. And Will Richard is showing me he doesn't really understand the game as related to business, because when you go out here and buy a pair of Maserati SUVs for both your mother and your sister, it's showing me that you don't know how to manage money. Now, when it comes down to buying cars, one of the things no smart man wants to do is go out here and buy a brand new car for anyone out here, because when you buy a brand new car, it's going to lose 50% of its value off the lot. And that whole situation gets even worse when it comes down to these exotic foreign cars like your Maseratis, your BMWs, your Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, these names can get you a lot of clout on the street, but it can go out here and wind up costing you a lot from your pocket, because these cars have high expensive maintenance costs, and if they have a catastrophic issue, you're going to be paying $4,000-$5,000 just to try to repair whatever issue is on these cars. And that whole situation gets worse the longer you own the car, because when it comes to BMWs, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, and Maserati, these cars basically the whole shelf life of them is 100,000 miles, and usually most of the white owners who own them dump them once they get 100,000 miles because the maintenance costs just wind up overwhelming, and you get just that much closer to something catastrophic happening that will cost you again $4,000 to $5,000 to basically repair. And this is why many smart men out here basically don't go out here and look to buy these cars to be status symbols, because they know that there is no status in buying one of these expensive cars and having to deal with those maintenance costs. And even if you're an NBA player, it's just not smart to buy these cars, especially ones with a dubious reputation like that of a Maserati. Now, what Will Richard didn't understand is that Maserati, yes, that's a fancy name, but those cars have the worst reputation as related to build quality. They have the worst reputation as related to maintenance, and usually when it comes to these Maseratis, they are basically considered to be junk by most people who know cars, because usually when it comes to a Maserati, yeah, you're going to be winding up paying for $5,000 in many cases as related to not only the maintenance, but also for the repairs, because this car is notorious for having serious issues. And this is why, even though the name Maserati is well known, anybody who knows cars basically stays away from Maserati, because a Maserati basically is going to grenade on you, and the person who has to take the fall on the grenade is the one who has to eat all of those costs as related to those cars. And that situation basically winds up getting compounded for this player, because he's buying these cars for his mother and his sister, and they are driving around in a car that's basically free as related to not only the purchase, but possibly have to be free for the maintenance and insurance. And when it comes down to some women, they don't know how to maintain cars by doing things like rotating the tires or even going out here and getting oil changes. And that's going to exacerbate the whole issues as related to this car in the future. And this may possibly lead to these two Maseratis basically winding up in the shop sooner rather than later. Because this guy, all he's thinking about is flossing and showing out by saying, oh, I got mama a house. Oh, I got mama a car. But the whole thing is that he doesn't understand what he is taking on as related to a burden, as related to his finances. And he's thinking, oh, the money is going to be endless with the NBA. But any smart guy will sit down and tell him, no, when it comes down to your money, you got to go out here and think of yourself as a business first. And as a business, you got to put yourself first. And as you put yourself first, your goal is to go out here and put money away to take care of you, because most NBA players, once their careers end, they usually wind up broke in 5 years. And they wind up broke because many of these men don't have good money management skills. And what they do is once they get their contract, they're going out here buying the mansions, buying the luxury cars, not understanding that the maintenance cost and insurance on those luxury cars and that property is going to be the thing that puts you underwater as you're trying to maintain this lifestyle. And a smart man is not going to put his money into these types of luxury items, because he understands that the costs basically are going to put him in the red. So a smart man, what a smart man is going to do is, yeah, he'll have the contract, but he's going to go out here and buy, a basic home. And on top of buying the basic home, he's going to go out here and find himself some nice used 2002 to 2008 Escalades if he want to buy mama a car, because there's a lot of pretty good used Escalades out there, and those cars are usually really solid because they have that LS engine. They basically can go long miles, and they basically have all the luxury amenities. Or you can go out here and get yourself one of these Toyota 4Runners that from 1999 to about 2010. Again, that car can go anywhere from 100 to maybe 500,000 miles. Or you go out here, you get yourself a Lexus LS 400, another car that's notorious for going at least 500,000 miles. Again, you still got a luxury car that's basically, again, out here and got you looking good. But this is a bulletproof car. And it's a bulletproof car that basically when you take it to the mechanic, there's lots of parts available for that car. And it's easy to repair. Again, that's what a smart man's going to do. He's not thinking about, hey, I got to show out for people. No, the way you show out for people is showing how you know how to manage your money. And the way you show how you manage your money is by saying, hey, I'm going to live below my means. And as I live below my means, I'm going to go out here and looking to get into business ventures like going out here and owning things like franchise restaurants, like Popeye's restaurants, like Burger King's, Pizza Hut's, McDonald's, even auto dealerships. Find a way to turn that money into wealth, because what basically bankrupts a lot of these NBA players is that a lot of these guys, what they do is they go out here buying houses for mama, buying sister cars, and not looking to make investments for themselves. They think that they're going to live forever. They think the money's going to go on forever. And that's not the case at all. No, that's not the case at all. When you get a good job, you got to be thinking forward about the future and where you want to take that money and where you want to go with it. And any smart guy, again, is going to be thinking about where he wants the money to go and how he wants that money to be used to, again, build more of a wealth-based platform for himself. I mean, if you get $1 million, the first thing you got to be thinking about is ways to, again, be sure that you can maintain what you've got. And that's what a smart man does. He's not going out here looking to buy somebody's mansion. And again, because when you buy a mansion, mansions have maintenance costs, they have property tax, they have insurance costs, and on top of that, you got these luxury cars like Maserati. Again, Maserati has a huge maintenance cost, and if in many cases it's got issues as related to the overall build quality. That's what this guy wasn't thinking about, because he thought he hit the jackpot with the NBA, telling me that he came from a single mother household without telling me he came from a single mother household, because any other guy who was getting this type of deal is going to understand, no, I can't be out here trying to show out to everybody and look to buy mama some stuff. No, I got to look out for me first, because the only person who's going to look out for me is me. And when it comes down to many black guys like this, sadly, they don't get that lesson in black manhood. They don't understand that the world works differently for a black man than it does a black woman. And when it comes to the black man, again, you're out here on your own, and all it takes is for you to have some sort of financial distress or have some sort of issue that happened, and you're basically in the hole all by yourself, and mama won't be able to save you. That's why you got to look out for yourself, and you got to look out for your money. And when I looked at this case, it just made me just shake my head, because this dude already starting out the gate not understanding how to spend money, and will be sadly another case of another NBA player who possibly will be broke in 5 years, because the way he's spending money. It may look good for many of these people as related to our gynocentric culture. Oh, he bought mama and his sister luxury cars, not understanding that this is going to cost you later on. I mean, if he's bought these cars, he's possibly paying the insurance too, like many of these son husbands are, and paying for all the costs. Again, not understanding, again, who's looking out for you and who's looking out for your money. It's a feel good story, but it's not going to feel good 5 years from now. Again, this is not what critical thinking men go out here and do. They go out here and understand, I'm not buying no Maserati, I'm not buying no Mercedes or no BMW to floss and show out to people. No, you can watch me really floss when I go out here and I'm making money off of things like franchises and basically making money off business ventures. That's how I'll show how I'm spending my money, because I understand money is a tool that you use for investing. And if you're not investing your money into something for the future, you're going to be winding up spending it on something for now that's going to cost you later on. And this guy basically shows me a sad case of what happens with many NBA players who don't know the game about money and don't know the game about business and don't understand that you are a business and you have to look out for your best business interests. Now, if you want to learn how to avoid the trap that this player wound up getting in, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, on Amazon.com. And that book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, is available at other online booksellers like Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to see me make more videos taking NBA players like this to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, An Offer He Can't Refuse. The man who rules the world gets a job offer he can't refuse in this action-packed all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes, An Offer He Can't Refuse at Amazon.com and other online booksellers. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.